Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Alpha Pro replay event. Today we have something that was actually cast a little bit earlier on Twitch coming up for your amusement. This is BYUN versus Rogue, the entirety of this first game. We had a lot of technical issues go down, so we are recasting some of the best games of the series. And without further ado, let's introduce the players. Spawning up here in the top, he is Jin Green Wings, Rogue. And his opponent, down here in the bottom, he is BYUN. So we did have a lot of technical issues today, and I do apologize for that. Even during the final couple of games, we had my internet completely drop, and as I cast this, it actually has not come back either. So I'm kind of just redoing a couple of these games that really had the worst issues so that everyone can see how amazing they were. And already BYUN is starting to deliver with a 3 racks coming down, and it's just going to be a straight 3 racks Reaper. So already going back to his glory days, trying to see if Rogue, if he can put the fear of Flash in Rogue right now. Now Rogue, he really does need to see that this is on the way. He's being very conservative with his Overlord placement. He does not want to lose them too early on, so just keeping them a bit far back, which I think can work a little bit more in BYUN's favor, as there is more attack paths for BYUN to go through. But Rogue does get wind of that first Reaper, and the second and third is going to be the big tell for him. As right now, he doesn't really have a huge response just yet, because he doesn't know how heavily BYUN is going to commit to this. They're going to be moving in, and now really Rogue knows the full sincerity of this event. He knows that BYUN is up to his old tricks, and I think even BYUN knows that he's not going to get a ton of damage done, but he's just going to keep diving, trying to go straight for the queens with the most energy. He wants to. He's got 3 objectives here: get the snipes, force the unit production, and if he can, kind of deny the creep from going down, especially towards that 3rd base. Now already he's doing a couple of those objectives relatively well, getting a lot of those Lings dead before they can engage, but now this is where it gets dicey, and this is where BYUN might have overstayed his welcome a bit, as he is going to start getting taken down. Rogue just able to get a full-on surround, but BYUN not done just yet, still going for the full 3 racks Reaper, just trying to make sure that he can keep as many of them alive as possible. Now, it's kind of interesting to see how BYUN is still continuing with this. Usually by now what we would see is that kind of transition into a full bio build with it. You would see stim packs started. You would also see the adaption of Marines. But no, BYUN says, you know what? I don't need anything but my trusty Death Boys right now. He feels confident enough to keep the attack rolling. The question is that going to be his downfall here, as Rogue is not falling for any of it. you know, behind this Rogue is really just kind of powering up. He's already got such a big worker supply. His economy is rolling off these 3 bases. And BYUN really just kind of struggling in that department now. If you see, he's currently very far behind in that regard. Over 600 mineral difference between the two. And his third base isn't even complete just yet. And yet he's still pumping out Reapers. My goodness, BYUN. This is not 2016. You did not win BlizzCon this year. You did not get these weird unnerfed Reapers. But you know, to his credit, he's going to keep trying. Even going to be adding on the Medivacs as well behind all of this. But we do see finally he is going to transition, even getting the Tep Lab for the Stim. Jagannatha is a really big map, and I feel like the Reaper mobility has been helping them out a bit, but their time might be limited here. As he's trying to get on top of the group tumors, he's not able to kill off all of them. Kind of just jumping around the cliffs, trying to find an opening, but now with the addition of Banelings, any venturing onto creep is forbidden, almost. And there you go, he's going to get a good pick up there. Looks to go for the main base, decides against it at the last second, as he knows those, as I say that, he goes right into the main base. Gets some really nice link kills, but he doesn't want to lose too much here. The Medivacs starting to lose their focus, and you know what? Rogue just decides, you know, you did not do enough damage. I feel sorry for that. So here, have a couple of my links and what do you call them? Drones for free. Now we do have some other massive damage, and finally BYUN is able to get some work done. Rogue just not paying attention, losing 16 workers to that Liberator, and the Widowmine drop as well, dividing his attention away. So the Reapers doing their jobs exceptionally well. Rogue, however, is not down or out just yet. He really wants to get a cancel on this third base location and wants to get a kill on BYUN right now with this huge link run by, and already going to kill off quite a few units here. Good split's going to make sure he doesn't lose too much, but that leaves just so much room for the Reapers to play around in. I think right now BYUN is in a little bit of trouble, even though his army supply is looking pretty good. Rogue just being a very good brick wall after losing that economy. And still, he's up 74. He's got 74 workers, so that is enough for him for now. Saving a lot of the Reapers. I don't think I've ever seen a Reaper this late in the game unless it was BYUN. Yeah, finally safe to come home. And now, we do have the Mutalisks in play, and the thing about the Mutalisks is they're going to start shutting down this drop play from BYUN. So overall, I think BYUN has gotten about as much as he's going to with these plays. He just really needs to hammer it home now, essentially. He's going to do that with, hey, what do you know? A drop play. Goes straight for the main base. He has to be careful not to lose this army. He does have an armory, so he is going to be able to keep these Widowmines alive for a little bit longer, even going straight for the drone line. Going to get quite a few of them, but now with the Mutalisks here, this becomes a lot more difficult for him. He does get out of there with at least half a medevac full of units. And from there, I think he should just retreat. Does get a couple of the Mutalisks, which is pretty nice as well. BYUN keeps getting caught out in the center of the map. Luckily, he has kind of weakened down this Mutalisk ball, so these medevacs are not falling as quickly as they should. But he's still losing quite a few units on his retreats. Fighting in a choke point here, which is pretty nice, but the Mutalisk is still able to get a little bit of work done. BYUN is going to be able to hold, but for how long? Yeah, he's still looking pretty decent on these 3 bases, but the longer this goes on, the longer he keeps taking this damage, it's just going to be harder and harder for him to move around. Now BYUN is on the attack once again. Baneling's still not morphed in, so BYUN can't really get on top of those. He has to be careful, though, to not overextend. But there is that bit of focus fire micro, which he is so well known for. And now he's just going to absolutely shred as many of these Mutalisks as possible before getting out of there. Unfortunately, losing a almost full medevac full of Marines. And his Widow Mine drops, I don't think, really got too much done either. So BYUN, he keeps taking these engagements and he keeps losing a majority of his army, but he is trading relatively well, all things considered. Making sure that any attack he does at least has equal value. So this is pretty much his equivalent exchange build. Now, there are their splits that you like to see. BYUN going to be trying to engage right off the edge of the creep. Rogue not going to let him in too far, however. And this would be a really big pick-off, and Rogue would just cement himself as almost an instant GG with the kill of this base, and it looks like he's actually going to get it, as the Mutalisks cannot be stopped. Now it is Rogue's turn to let BYUN know that he thinks this game is going directly in his favor. We've got the run-by going down. A couple of Widow Mines drop, going to get a couple of kills, but Rogue really doesn't care about that too much. He's already on 86 workers. I really do like how selective Rogue was in that engagement. Basically, he went for the smaller amount of Marines, pulled away from the main army to get them, and that really just shows that he is able to get those good trades, those good engagements with whatever he has. Thor, not going to be too long for this world. A nice hot box there from the Mutalisks. And he's just going to be right on top of the economy as BYUN goes for a bit of a counterattack himself. Relatively even in terms of that army supply, but Rogue is completely almost maxed out here. One Widow Mine. Just one Widow Mine for all of those units. Yeah, now one big thing about Linkbane Muta is that it's a very gas-intensive build to get out the number of Mutalisks that you need. So he is still on Hive Tech, or Lair Tech rather, and he's going to be there for quite a bit of time. Losing quite a few of the Mutalisks, I might add, but still able to pick off a lot of BYUN's forces. Currently looking at the supply, however, it is 193 to 107, and Rogue still in control of this game. If he can get that second Overlord as well, that would be pretty nice. And the problem at this point is, as BYUN takes these engagements just like that, Rogue is going to be your victor. And as he took those engagements, he just really wasn't able to divide the forces, as Zerg just had way too much for the defense. A fan. Okay, there we go. A fantastic game, number one. Just really hurts to see BYUN kind of sticking on that strategy for a little bit longer than he really should have. I feel like if he would have transitioned a little bit earlier, he would have been in a much better position. But anyway, we're going to be hopping into game number 2 here. They went to Death Aura next. A huge raid coming down. I'm sorry, I can't read the name, but what is up, man? Oh, it's Into the Clan. Welcome, everyone. We're just replaying some amazing games here today. We got some epic players. And speaking of epic players, let's introduce this guy in the top for one, spawning on Death Aura. He is BYUN. And his opponent, down here in the bottom, he is Rogue. Now BYUN is going absolutely crazy here with his cheeky shenanigans. After a 3-Rax Reaper in the last game, going to be going straight for what looks to be a 4-Rax. Very interesting. And one thing to note as well, you can see the way that Rogue is scouting, he's actually not going to be able to scout this in time. He needs to take one of those overlords and move them away in order to see this, because this is very powerful if it's not scouted. Like, it's almost impossible to defeat. Rogue, however, is playing it very contently. Just kind of getting that spawning pool up. First Marine is on production tab, and this is where it starts to get dicey. We should be seeing BYUN probably throw down a couple of bunkers in the front as well, just to kill off that first hatchery and contain his Zerg opponent. I think they actually trapped themselves here. No, he's actually just hiding them for right now, trying to make sure that if there's any Zerglings going to be coming his way, that he can just pick those off as soon as possible. Asking, can we get these replays? I believe there is a replay pack that you can grab that does include these amazing replays. I don't know the link for it, though. But just look at this. BYUN playing it so patiently, even waiting for a third base to go down before he even decides to move out. Wow, this is going to be very dicey here for Rogue at the moment, as BYUN just going to hop straight in here, not even caring about the natural. He's going to go straight. Yeah, sorry. This is a much more sensitive microphone. But he's going to go straight up the ramp and get some amazing work done. Killing off one of the overlords is going to make it so that Rogue is going to have some trouble dealing with this even more. And I think this is starting to be a little bit too much for Rogue to handle. Back on the other side of the, not on the other side of the map, the SCV starting to go down with this attack. Spore Crawlers not able to get up either. Only one of them about to burrow. He has to pull all of the drones to deal with this. There's just not enough firepower, and BYUN is going to take game number 2. So BYUN, different strategy, different result, and that was incredible. I'm going to try and add a small noise gate on this one just so it becomes a little bit. Okay, that one should take care of some of the more disgusting noises. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I have Parting's mic. But you know what the best thing about having, oh yeah. You want to see BYUN play? I can't even do that with a straight face. But yeah, looks like we're going to be going into this one all tied up. So without further ado, spawning in the bottom position of Pillars of Gold, he's BYUN. His opponent up here in the top position is Rogue. Now, unfortunately for all you fans of the Cheddar, we do have a barracks being built in the proper location this time. So he's not going to go straight into the cheeky shenanigans here. We're going to have to wait a little bit for those shenanigans to begin. And it looks like Rogue just going to continue to play it kind of standard here. We haven't really seen too many crazy things out of him, and I think that's for the best. His huge advantage is that he is just a very solid player all around. He can macro his way out of any situation. He can like beat you with aggression that comes way before you're expecting it. And I think really against a player like BYUN who's super aggressive, even if you're playing it very reactionary, playing to BYUN, you're still going to have a good time with that choice. Looks like a pretty standard start here, except BYUN not going for a Reaper this time around. He's going to be going straight into the reactor on his racks. We should be seeing the factory come down pretty soon, actually in a bit of a different location, so I don't think we'll be seeing Hellions with this, actually. Maybe 1 or 2? Okay, actually going to be going into a tech lab, so the question is this going to be for some sort of fast 2-base siege tank timing, or is he going to be swapping that over? Yeah, it's gonna be either a Raven or some Banshees. Banshee's gonna be like, Banshees have been coming back into the meta a bit, and I really do like that kind of decision because Rogue hasn't really been able to scout this base just yet, so it's gonna be pretty hidden. And on top of that, once you add in the additional Marines, you can really do a solid push with those Cloaked Banshees, because I don't think Rogue is going to be starting that lair for another minute or so at the very least. I think he just killed his own unit. Interesting.
You know, BYUN, he's the kind of player who, if you disrespect him in his army and you don't attack the right thing, I have seen him kill his own units for disloyalty. Ah, drone scouting. But still, he has killed his own units for disloyalty, especially on his stream. Which, by the way, if you can find his stream, I don't know how often he does it, but it's a really fun stream, even without a microphone. He's just super emotive, super fun to watch. And you know, I've seen Rogue stream a couple of times, but it's much more straightforward Korean stream. Just heavy on the practicing and kind of just there to say, thanks, sub. But anyway, it looks like BYUN is going to be hopping in here. Rogue had no idea this was coming. His detection is nowhere to be found. Lair not even started just yet, so there is going to be a lot of drone kills here potentially. And yeah, 7 workers going down before that Spore Crawler can even complete. A little bit of focus fire here, going to kill a couple more, it looks like. And we do have that second one coming in as well. I saw 2 Spore Crawlers on the production tab. Looks like there are 3. Now, while this one isn't going to get as much damage done, this is still an epic start. Behind this, we do have the siege take timings and the third base about halfway complete. So BYUN actually in a bit of a supply lead here. If we take a look at that army size, it looks like he's going to be going for a very aggressive push with this as well. If you can heal up the Banshees, you can essentially add some huge amounts of firepower to this. And the thing about BYUN is that you really need to cut this off early without taking too many losses, because the second BYUN decides to push across the map, it just does not stop. He just really likes this concentrated aggression, and it's his biggest blessing and his biggest curse. You know, if he gets shut down early, then he struggles a little bit to get back into it. But it looks like right now, Rogue going straight for the siege tanks might not get them just because the Marines do back up in time. But now Rogue trying to fight this. He has so many queens. It's just a little bit easy it's pretty much easy mode for him until he loses the Spore Crawlers. But as I was saying, we do see that steady stream of red coming across the map. I would like to see him heal these Banshees, please. They just add so much to this attack. You know, BYUN playing it very cautious, just playing around the map, the ramp. There is no Baneling speed just yet, so he can really just articulate his position right here. And yes, I am waiting for those Bane snipes as well. That is his strong suit. And here we go. Rogue, knowing it as well, he needs that speed. A few too many Banes to snipe here, unfortunately, and Rogue going to be backing up the creep. Looks like a few too many of those Banelings actually went down in the attack. And the third base is going to get sniped. I think Rogue might be a little bit frustrated on how that attack went. Just a few good siege tank shots, and now he's playing from behind, almost a 30 supply deficit. Here we go once again. Now, these are the splits that you like to see from BYUN, not taking too much damage from those Banelings, and is just going to push his way forward here. Only Queens to deal with this, and I think Rogue is going to have to rely a little bit too heavily on those transfuses, and that is going to be it. BYUN taking the lead in the series for the first time, and he's going to continue his reign of terror versus Zerg and Protoss. BYUN still looking good after 2 years away from the game that he loves. He is just on fire. And you know what this does? Put Rogue on match point. These are best of fives to start thing off before the grand finals. So Rogue, he's gotta kind of recognize what's going on in these games, and he's got to react a little bit better. He knows that BYUN likes those aggressive pushes. He knows that BYUN is not going to stop them. So really, what you need to do, and what I've seen done is the best way to do it, go around and snipe the reinforcements as they're moving across. That way, when you get in there, you can just destroy the attack a lot easier. But who am I to speak for these two absolute legends? Spawning down here in the bottom position, he is BYUN. His opponent up here in the top, he is Rogue. Yeah, it was a good old refinery trick. He was trying to get a little bit of extra supply there. But now BYUN is actually going for a pretty cool strategy here. He's just completely avoiding the gas in general so that he can get his second command center down quite quickly. While he is going to throw down that extra refinery, we should be seeing an additional barracks come behind this, if I'm not mistaken. Ah, yes, the Terran extractor trick. It's pretty much we've tricked ourselves into doing a different build and then realized we didn't want to do the build. Now Rogue getting that speed nice and early. He knows that he's going to need that for the defense. But really, BYUN is going to be going for that factory. And I'm actually a little confused by this one as well. Usually when you throw down your gas a little bit later, it's much better for a 2-1-1 or a similar strategy, which, as I learned recently, BYUN did not actually create. He stole it from Innovation, but he did perfect it. But I'm interested to see where this is going to go, as I think he's actually gearing up for a two-base play here now that I see those additional racks. You know, that is a good guess, Acelon, in the chat. I think Hellbats would actually be an amazing play here, especially with the additional Marine support. But we will have to see as Rogue sees the first couple of Hellions, and I think he has to be thinking that this is a little bit late. He really does want to get in there and get a good count on the number of Hellions. So he is going to just sack one of the Overlords in order to get that scouting information. And does he see it is the big question. He does not. Now that is where it starts to get pretty scary for him here. He doesn't know what's coming up behind this. We do see the Baneling Nest being dropped instantly, kind of just as a precaution. Now he's going to just jump around with the Hellions a little bit. And you can see he's not being very aggressive with them. He's not going for the dive, even though I do think he might actually get a few units over there pretty handily. Ooh, he's gearing up for it, and the anticipation is building here for BYUN. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We've got the armory coming down. That is an instant tell. A couple of medevacs going to be popped as well with this. And with the lair only just now starting, he's going to have to rely on these Lings and Banes to deal with this. He's going to throw down the couple of Evo chambers just so that he can kind of get his upgrades started behind all of it. But here we go. Yeah, there are no Marauders with this. Marauders not the best in the early game. You do want to get that Marine count pretty high before you start to transition. But here we go, playing it very bold here. He's going to drop it right on top of the creep. Stim has been complete as well, so he can just jump right on top of the ramp, on top of the Banelings. Hellbats wiping out the only Lings that are out. A couple of these Banelings will actually morph, but BYUN snipes, as that is going to be it. BYUN takes the series 3-2-1 in another